Good evening and bienvenue, my fond fair friends, family, and subscribers. This is your humble narrator, Diomedes Rouge, here to bring you part one of What If Naruto Could Summon a Glavenus? Now, many of you, well, a few of you actually, may wonder, why wasn't this posted yesterday? And to that, I have nothing to say but I'm sorry, personal stuff came up. I apologize. I accidentally had a life. It wasn't my intention, believe me. I prefer being an introvert, but shit happens. Apologies. But that beside the point, I will be saying I shall make up for this lack. This minor deviation in your regularly scheduled programming. And for that, I shall upload another episode today. So you can expect part 1 and part 2 today. I hope that will ease some of your souls. And if not, well, at that point I can't really care. Like, I'm sorry, but that's the best you're gonna get from me. Now, where we last left off, good young Naruto had just essentially won the favor of his newest and currently most powerful ally, Garus, the Glavenus. A young, somewhat eccentric, I guess you could call him, creature. And as such, Naruto fulfilled his end of the bargain. And as soon as he could, well, as within the couple hour time frame, he summoned him yet again. And when he did, Naruto felt, well, a bit lighter. It's almost as if he felt a bit more energetic with Garus around. He didn't know why, but he enjoyed it. In his mind, it's mainly because he had a friend, someone he could talk with, and someone who would actually talk back. Completely unlike Kiba and his Akamaru. Completely different. And so, Naruto then began to wonder, how the heck am I going to make this work? Because he realized he lives in an apartment. A relatively small one at that. And he saw how big Garus would eventually become. So for now, this will work, but later on he will have to move to someplace at least either bigger or that has more land. So, Garus, what is it? I've been meaning to ask you, do you have anything you could, I don't know, teach me? Not especially. Teaching isn't my forte. I was still learning myself. I see. Besides, I only know how to fight like I am. Perhaps you could, since you people are softer and squishier, maybe you could try learning a weapon. Well, I already know how to use kunai and shuriken. I mean a weapon. Not things you throw to distract your enemy. Well, what do you mean? I don't know. What sort of things do you use around here? Well, we have swords, giant shuriken, Kurasigama, a bunch of different things. Well, I know how to use my tail very well. My gramps taught me most of that, and my dad filled in the spots where he couldn't. But your tail is a lot duller than your gramps. I know that. I'm still young. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Don't talk about a Galvanus's tail about Glavenus's tail like that. It's personal. Oh, I'm sorry. Does it just get sharper with time? Yes. As I grow, age, and eat more, I will, well, get stronger, faster, and, well, my tail shall get sharper, and my body will most definitely become more and more durable. Wow, that's impressive. Well, I don't have a lot of money to buy anything like that. Dang it. Okay. I wish I had some access to some actual. I wish I paid more attention in class. Boom! As he slams his head up against the table. Dang it! As well, he gets a knock at his door. And who is knocking at his door? Pardon me one moment. Gotta take a minor breather. Sorry about that. Had to yawn. That's no one else but Iruka Sensei. As he asks Naruto if he can come in. He gladly lets him do so, and then he sees Garus, and he just goes, "You're a lot smaller than I remember you out in the forest." That's because I'm my grandfather's grandson. He's the one you saw in the forest. Just be glad he didn't think you was a threat, or you'd end up the same way as that other guy he told me about. Duly noted. Naruto. Yeah? I'm here to do a couple things. What? Am I in trouble? No. For one, I'm here to apologize. What? You haven't been given a fair break in this village. And it's not your fault, exactly. I can't tell you why, but just know that you're not to blame for what's going on. And that you need to be strong. As Naruto gets a little bit irritated, so if it's not my fault, then why am I being put like this? Just get what you want to say done and over with. Second part is that you're going to start the Ninja Academy in a couple of days. What? I saw how you handled yourself. Well, at least I saw your technique. You're able to pull off a successful summoning technique like that. Well, not only is it foolish to try and keep you out of becoming a shinobi, it would be downright insulting. Besides, you need to learn control. Otherwise, you're going to wind up with that thing running a rampage or amok later on. I take offense to that. Oh? Yeah. I'm not some mindless beast, you bastard. I have my own mind and will, but it follows suit with my master's origins, with my master's will. I won't attack anyone he doesn't seem fit to die. Just be glad you're not one of them, asshole. As Garus just kind of turns around and goes into the other side of the apartment. Sorry about that. He's a bit he's quite. Yes, I understand. But it's good. Means you have someone you can at least fall back on. But as I said, it'd be foolish. As he reaches over and takes the goggles off of his head, and then passes him a headband. You've earned this, Naruto. Not only did you save my life, but you've helped ensure that even greater things can happen in the future. As Naruto begins to kind of sniffle and get a little teary-eyed. Thank you, Iruka. Iruka-sensei. I don't know what's going on, but I'll be damn sure to figure it out. And when I do, I'll fix it. I'm going to become Hokage, whether anyone likes it or not. Iruka just smiles. Just, of course you will. I know you. As he pats his head and just says, now go on. It's going to be a couple days, so you can get a little bit of time to study, as he passes him a few notebooks. These are my own notebooks from a while back. Give yourself a little bit of an edge on the competition. It's like, oh man, homework already? I'm not even in the... Naruto. Yes, Iruka-sensei. Sorry, Iruka-sensei. Better. Now, get studying. Because you only have a couple of days with me before you wind up getting formed into teams. Well, a couple of weeks with me before you get formed into different teams. And, well, you better hope you get lucky. Because I will say in this, oh yes, things are a bit different. You'll find out how a little later on. And so Naruto takes his word. He doesn't like studying, but Garus then points out, you know, if you study, he did give you those from experience. He knows a thing or two. Studying what he left behind could, you know, benefit you. Oh, but it's so much work. I don't like doing this sort of stuff. I prefer actually training. Yes, but... But what? Look at it. Think of this as training for your mind. Really? Hey, I had to do similar crap. Like what? Meditation? Do you know how boring it is to meditate? No, it's quite boring. Especially for like the first 7 hours. What do? You sit down, or rather in our case, you lay down, and you think. Or trying not to think. It's quite confusing. And it's painful. Because if you don't do it properly, you get hit. Hard. It is not fun. But I still did it. And if you want, I can help you out too. It's like, really? Yeah, sure. He's like, of course. Like, okay, how are you going to help me? Wham! Ow, what was that for? Study. It's like, I don't bam! Okay, shit. And so he begins to study. he begins to study over the notes that Aruka has, well, taught him, left for him. They include many different techniques, many different ways of simplifying hand signs, as well as simple ways to study new jutsu. Even it has some ways of learning how to control one chakra. And then he gets to chakra nature before his mind just kind of goes, bleh. I've been studying for 3 hours. I need a break. It's like, hold up. How about we put some of this to practical use? What do you mean? As Garus lowers the tail. Think about it. You're getting hungry, right? Yes. Let's go hunting. Hunting, you say? Yes. We can go hunting, we get yourself some food, and in turn, get me a little bit of leg stretching time. He's like, all right, and you're going to try and put into use the different stuff I learned from here. I see, so combining practical methods with red methods. Not bad. Very good, actually. Oh, thank you, Garus. As he begins to pat him on the head, and then Garus begins to nip at him like, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, I'm not your pet. I am a proud Glavenus. And I will remain as such. It's like, oh, come on. It's a way of affection. No, it's a way of handling a dog. I am not a dog. I am a mother effing Glavenus. And you will respect me as such. As he begins to walk out the door. Until he realizes he can't turn the door handle. It's like, can you open this thing for me? Can I pat you on the head? I will bite your head off. Then I won't be able to open the door. You win this round, Naruto. As Naruto pats him on the head lightly, he opens the door, and then Garus says, round 2, start! And he slaps him straight on the arse with his tail, sending him out the second-story balcony. Shit! As Naruto has to roll and land onto the ground, absorbing the impact with a roll. Absorbing the impact through his legs and feet as he rolls it out. It's like, that could have killed me, you ass! That was a funny thing. That was funny. As he proceeds to calmly and gently walk down the stairs. He's like, They leave the village, telling him they'll be back in a couple of hours. They're just going to get some food. As well, Garus and Naruto proceed to hunt. Naruto thinking about chakra control and how it's supposed to allow him to walk on trees and stay connected to them. It's like, all right. As he proceeds to try and focus. As he steps 1 step, 2 step, 3 step up the tree, and then, ow! As Garus just goes, it's like, oh yeah, I'd like to see you do any better, asshat. Okay. As the Glavenus just goes, and just stabs his foot into his toe claws into the tree as he just walks straight up it until he realizes the tree is not meant to handle another 800 pounds of weight on the side of it, and begins to crack and go, timber! Naruto barely dodging out of the way and just go as the birds scatter from within the tree. And that's when Naruto just begins to go, serves you right, you cheating bastard. He's like, shut up. I meant to do that. Sure you did. Anyways, let's get to actually hunting. As Naruto refocuses again. Alright. And then proceeds to, well, climb the tree with his feet. Except this time, it actually works out. Because believe it or not, Naruto is pretty smart, especially if he has someone to guide him. In this case, it was Iruka guiding him through his notes. And with a little bit of pressure from Garus, not wanting to be showed up by his feeble attempt, and to show off he can do something, provided more than enough of the, well, I guess you would say, pressure to get him motivated to actually do it. And so he begins running, jumping from tree to tree to tree, as Garus begins to prowl, sniff out scents, gets low, and cautiously walks, as Naruto keeps an eye on him. As they get closer and closer to a group of deer. Garus swings his tail around where Naruto can see in a semicircle fashion. Naruto, for some reason, feels this as a meaning. Like in his heart, it feels like he's trying to tell him something. He focuses on that. It feels like, right. As he moves further and further to the side, jumping from tree to tree ever so lightly, branch to branch, getting to where he's in a flanking position of the deer. And then on the other side, facing it, hidden in the tree foliage. And that's when Garus charges forward, letting loose a small roar, scaring the ever-loving crap out of the deer as they scatter. They're hunting the buck, the big 10-pointer. Garus is easily able to catch up to its side, but the buck tries to dodge, only to go right underneath the tree where Naruto is. He jumps down and impales it with his kunai, straight through the back of the neck. A clean kill if there ever was one. Naruto then begins to, well, gut and clean the creature. As Garus is going, come on, you don't need to do all that. Yes, as a human, I do. Anyways, we're still going to be splitting this. Oh yeah, how much? And Garus is expecting, oh, he's got to be like all other people. Yeah, I heard about humans before, like 50-50, 70-30. That's way too small of a portion. No, 70 to you. I only need about 30%. Huh? Dude, you're like what, 800 pounds? You're like a small horse. Well, you're about the size of a horse. I don't need that much meat. He's like, fair point. As Naruto just basically, I am taking the heart though. What? I got the kill. It's like, besides, it's a good muscle. And I will say, Naruto probably has had to catch his own meal before. Didn't have enough money, or the Ichiraku ramen guy was closed on certain days, and instead of going hungry, he probably went out and set up a few rabbit traps and such. But with Garus, the entire forest was his petri dish. And boy did he take to it. Garus preferring to eat his meals, well, raw. While Naruto sets up a little bit of a fire and tries to, well, cook it, but he's having a hard time getting it to light as Garus just goes, whew, and sets all the embers ablaze really damn quickly. Like, hey, watch it. Let me know before you do stuff like that. She's like, Oh, what? Come on, I helped you. Be like, yeah, but you almost burned my fingers, man. Thank you, though, but be careful. As Naruto, well, he takes the meat, heart, and liver and begins cooking it. Why liver, you say? Well, he is trying to eat a bit healthy, and from what he was told, liver is supposedly very tasty and very, very healthy, which it is very healthy, but if you don't know how to cook it, it is not tasty at all. So he figured he'd try something new. Boy, did he ever. He ate the meat, the heart, got to the liver, he went, this does not taste good. As Garus said, you still chose it. You have to eat it. But are you going to waste an animal? No, but then eat it. But eat it. Okay, okay. It's like, might cause me to get sick, but fine. Then it's your own fault for choosing it. It's like, hey, you have a weird set of standards, Garus. Like, so I have to, considering you're my master. It's like, as Naruto finishes, well, chugging down the, well, liver as he begins to chug the ever-loving hell out of his water canteen, just trying to get the taste out of his mouth, like, oh. Okay, next time I'm getting Ichiraku ramen. We can get you maybe a steak platter or something. Yay! What's ramen? Yeah, I don't know if you could actually ingest that. As well, they continue hunting for a little while. Get a bit of extra food for Naruto's small freezer. That way, whenever Garus does get a little cranky, he can have a bit of a snack. And it's a relatively good day for Naruto. He's having fun. He's getting to train a little bit. And he learns more and more about his chakra nature. And he gets to feel something weird beginning to happen to him. He feels like his eyes are clearer. Like he can see farther. Begins to feel like he's a bit stronger as well. Doesn't know why he's feeling this, but he does. Guess in his mind, he just thinks, just chalk it up to having a friend around. He was always told that friends make you feel like you're invincible, or at least make you feel more strong, more powerful with them around. What he doesn't realize is Garus knows why he feels this way. But Garus doesn't know but Garus ain't saying shit because he hasn't questioned him about it yet. He knows it's because of the rider's mark. That the attributes that Garus has is slowly but surely, as long as he's around him, begin to rub off on Naruto. The more he's around, the stronger Naruto will become. The faster he will be. The stronger he will be. The more deadly he will become. Until he's like a human Galvanus. At least that's what his grandfather told him. I mean, Glavenus. Sorry. Get letters mixed up sometimes. It's a bad habit, I know. Couple days pass of them repeating this routine, and then Naruto heads to the academy, and everyone is shocked. Naruto walks in, but he looks a bit taller. He looks a bit tougher. Not by much, but he does look definitely a bit more sturdy than he used to. And then they hear thum, thum, thum down the hallway. As, well, Garus pokes his head in through the door. Because I will say, since none of the kids ever visited Naruto really, except to try and bully him, and most of the ones that did bully him, we never see in the Ninja Academy, at least not a lot. They didn't really, well, talk about the whole 8 foot tall, 7 foot tall, 10 foot long, 10 foot long, T-Rex with a sharpened knife as a tail. Because why would they? Why would anyone notice if no one visited him? Shikamaru probably knew, considering Shikamaru knows everything. He probably saw Naruto around town, but said, yeah, no, that's too much effort to even bother trying to ask. And just went, too much of a pain. But everyone else, they had no connection with Naruto. Hinata, she couldn't get close to him without her family being on her 24/7. But boy, were they surprised when Garus came in. Just goes like, what the hell is that there? And Garus just goes, and lets loose a fiery roar as he lets about a good 2.5 foot burst of flame out of his mouth as he walks in front of Naruto. It's like, Garus, do you really have to do that? As he goes over to where Naruto's desk obviously is, and sits down right next to it in the middle of the hall. Or, as well, Naruto goes and sits in his desk. As Iruka Sensei basically says, well, you know who your new guy is. It's like, huh? How could we? Wait, why is that thing in here? Because that is his, well, companion. It is registered as his companion, and it shall be as such. And that's when Kiba perks up like, that can't be allowed. It says, oh, and your dog is? Be like, eh. Your dog that can weirdly pull off jutsus and everything else is, huh? Like, oh. Yeah, shut up. Naruto summoned that creature, and it chose to stay. So, there's no real problem with it. As Garus just kind of, suckers. And they all just kind of look, it can talk. Like, yeah. As quite a few people begin to take second notice at this. Sakura just thinks, this idiot, what does he think he's doing bringing something like that in here? Hinata's thinking, oh my god, he's gotten handsomer somehow. Like, how the hell is it possible? I can't look. Sasuke's going, what the hell happened to him? He's not as rambunctious as he usually is. He's usually bouncing off the walls. Why is he acting so calm? And what's with the giant reptile? I'll learn your secrets, Naruto. I'll learn them. You can't hide anything from an Uchiha. You may be more interesting now, but if it's something dangerous that I can use, I may have to look into it. Because Sasuke is still, emo hungry for revenge against his brother. Yes, most of you who know me know I hate that little person. But that will not affect my storytelling of him much. I I repeat, much. I will refrain from doing anything too explicit until it's warranted. And so, the weeks progress until the teams are assigned, and naturally, I'm not going to change the teams because that would require far, far more effort than it is to just have our little badass be a badass. And so, Team 7 is Sakura, Sasuke, and Naruto. And by default, Garus, because they're kind of a package deal. Now, over the time, Garus and Naruto have trained themselves pretty darn well. After school, they would, well, practice in the forest with their hunting efforts. They wouldn't hunt deer always, they don't want to take them out of the system, and Garus even was the one that pointed them out, saying there needs to be a balance, stating how sometimes they need to hunt other things in order to, well, make sure the ecosystem survives. Because I will say, monsters in general know better than to just keep on eating and eating and eating. Otherwise, there'd be no such thing as Ampanath whenever you go into, well, any area. Those of you who plays Monster Hunter, you know. So, they hunted other things, smaller game, sometimes even larger game. And they practiced. And Naruto, after selling quite a few pelts and horns and everything else, managed to save himself up to get a nice, brand new Dao blade and set of tiger claws for, well, offensive and defensive purposes. He would only use the claws if he had no, well, choice to, because they were primarily meant to help him climb in case he didn't want to, well, use the chakra. But the Dao blade, that was, well, meant for self-defense. He doesn't know why he was drawn to it, but it felt at home for some reason, like he was drawn to it. The curved nature of the sword combined with its regal edge and the handle, it just felt right. And so he gladly got it when he got the chance to. What, did you really think I was going to give him a katana? Don't get me wrong, I have nothing wrong with katanas, but I think they're overly done. And no, I am not a katana fanboy. So, there are hundreds to thousands of other swords out there that I will gladly bring up and show off. You want a katana? Try Fallout's channel. He loves those things. Yes, shout out to Fallout, whatever. But yes, the tiger claws he primarily uses for, well, climbing. He enjoys them. He likes the idea of just these very fine, sharp claws that he gets to, well, grab onto things with. But that's enough of that. As Kakashi takes the stage and basically hands out the Bell Challenge. Essentially stating, if y'all can catch these, y'all will be my equals. And right before anything starts anywhere, Garus and Naruto take off right at him. Just, pew! Not even letting him continue his speech as Kakashi says, well, thanks. Not bad. Trying to catch me off guard right off the bat. Kakashi backing away into the forest, trying to jump and move farther back using the trees, as he notices Naruto's right on his ass. Just keeps on running along and he can hear the thun, 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 thun of Garus stomping throughout the forest. Goes, I'll at least be able to tell where that thing's coming from. As Kakashi turns around, throws a few kunai just to have them deflected by the the Dao blade that Naruto, well, pulls out and parries with. Sasuke and Sakura, Sasuke, first of all, obviously, reorients himself after the stunning reaction that Naruto just pulled off and chases after him a few seconds later while Sakura sits there like an idiot going, "Wait, what the heck's going on? Guys, get back!" And just begins to run off after them. After a stunned few seconds of what the hell just happened. As Naruto is already going into close range melee combat with Kakashi. Him parrying his Dao blade, but realizing this kid's actually moving very fast with this thing. Because I will say, him and Garus, they have been practicing. Him learning how to swing down with more force. He can't bring it down like Garus can, but oof, can he hit something hard. And Kakashi just keeps on blocking, evading, and getting Naruto more and more upset. That's whenever he hears a loud from behind him going, "What the hell?" As Garus charges in for a, shoulder tackle, essentially. Or what you'd call a shoulder tackle. Then again, if it's a T-Rex, can you really call it a shoulder tackle? Or is it more like a body slam and from a side? Either way, Garus basically is throwing his body at the side of Kakashi. Kakashi sees this. Substitution techniques the heck on out of there. As, Naruto is then impacted by the log that Garus so happily so unintentionally left for Naruto. Well, that Garus so unintentionally propelled into him. As boom! As Naruto gets knocked onto his keister. Kakashi is then face to face, while catching his breath from that, is then face to face with, Sasuke as he prepares his fireball jutsu, and, tries to incinerate the poor bastard. Meanwhile, he just says, "Nope," and counters it with fireball jutsu. Because what's better than one fireball? Two. He goes, "What? How did you?" And then proceeds to get kicked in the gut. Hey, I said I wouldn't allow it to interfere much. Let me have this. As he proceeds to kick him in the gut and send him flying. Oh. Sakura catches up, but tries to, and is essentially ding to, Sasuke as Naruto jumps back up and is charging at this man who has severely pissed him off. Then he realizes, shit. Shit, he's way too fast. He's way too fast and he's way too powerful. As he basically yells at Garus, "Go after him, I need to catch up." What? Listen to me. Fine. I'll chase after him. Do whatever you gotta do, but hurry. As Garus does. Garus keeps putting pressure on Kakashi, chasing him throughout the forest. Any tree he gets in, he slams into, he cuts into, he knocks it down. Meanwhile, Naruto, he's over there at Sasuke and Sakura saying, "We need to team up." What? We need to team up. We can't face him on our own. We have to use a plan. That we were going to come up with one before you. Yeah. Element of surprise. I thought we could get him on that, but no. Anyways. Sasuke, I'm going to charge at him head first. Meanwhile, I need you to cover me with range. What? Why should I listen to you? Do you want to be kicked in the gut again? No? Then let me take it for you. Better? I'm better at melee anyways. Like hell you are. Fine. I'm more willing to get knocked around by someone who's twice my seniority in this ranking structure. You know, like him. He goes like, fine, you better be right about this. Sakura, I need you to provide backup support for Sasuke. Try and keep him up on his feet, and if not, you find out. And if Kakashi winds up trying to get onto him, well, you know what to do. Gang up on him, while me and Garus make a return. That's fine and dandy, but how are we gonna catch him now? Simple. Garus is that way. How can you tell? I have a hunch. As they proceed to charge forward. Kakashi going, oh, fine. I guess I'll have to deal with I guess I'll deal with you first. As he proceeds to, well, go and challenge Garus. And Garus is just laughing. About time you stopped running. Oh, this is gonna be fun. As Kakashi is, well, slightly intrigued and goes charging in and trying to punch Garus. Bad move. Because remember what I said about the sheer fact that Garus is connected to Naruto via the mark and how they drain the user's chakra as long as they're there? Yeah. And as of that moment in time, Naruto hasn't been using a lot of his chakra and has actually been regenerating more than Garus has been taking. But in terms like this, Garus can take more chakra from Naruto via that connection. Garus can use it to bolster his power. And boy does he, as Naruto then begins to somewhat slow down, realizing he's in trouble. I can feel it as he moves faster and faster, attempting to regain his positioning. Hearing Garus and, well, Kakashi fighting as he comes up to Kakashi, about to punch Garus, and then BOOM! An explosive amount of chakra bursts forth from Garus. A mixture of his own and the stuff he's gotten from Naruto. And boy, oh boy, does it surprise the ever-loving crap out of Kakashi. Oh boy, does it ever scare him good. Because this beast, this monster, is now gotten 2 feet taller for a grand total of 8. He's gotten 5 feet longer for a grand total of 15. And boy, oh boy, is he ever pissed. Boy, oh boy, does he bring down the pain as he goes for a slash with his tail. Jesus! As Kakashi dodges out of the way again and again, avoiding this flaming hot tail that, well, could really cut through about anything, and does through several trees. Garus then proceeds to side slam him into a tree, just to be finding out it's another, well, substitution technique. God, you gotta love those. What the hell? You gotta run out of those eventually, as he roars. And Naruto, he uses this opportunity because he sees where Kakashi is, and he charges in. He takes his Dao blade and brings it down upon him, not making a sound, moving silently. But Kakashi sees him, as he's just barely able to dodge, when all of a sudden he hears Demon Wind Shuriken. As, well, Sasuke throws the giant 4-bladed shuriken right straight at Kakashi, who again dodges, leading it straight to Naruto. Instead of panicking, Naruto takes his Dao blade and thrusts it right into the center of the shuriken, channeling his own chakra into it and through it. And then proceeding to launch it straight at Kakashi's newest position, causing him to duck and move out of the way again. Then, right into the sight of Garus, who just goes, finally, as he rushes in and gives a nice 180-degree spiral slash. Oh, is it beautiful. And by spiral, I basically mean he grabs his tail with his mouth, heats it up, and proceeds to launch it out at such intense volumes that not only does it cut down anything within that 15-foot radius of that tail, because, oh good God, well, within that radius of the tail, but it also winds up sending off searing hot, well, energy. Just think about that. That tail is so hot it's glowing. Anything close to that, within like a 5 to 10 foot radius, is going to be feeling that. Plants are burning around him. Grass is becoming, well, ash. The trees, they've seen better days. And their leaves, oh God, any way that tail moves, it is just a catastrophic devastation. Oh, nature's worst nightmare. Unless you like wildfires, in that case, there you go. As Sasuke and Sakura see what happened to Garus. Because I will say by now they would say they did introduce him at some point. If I haven't already. Forgetful I am. However, after doing that, Garus begins to feel fatigued. He's been chasing Kakashi non-stop for minutes now. And while he is strong, he is still a very young Glavenus. And still nowhere near the strength of his grandfather. And Naruto is also beginning to feel weak, not only due to Garus draining him of his chakra, but also due to him using his own chakra, speeding himself up, enhancing his body, redirecting and, well, throwing things, trying to be more stealthy. Everything he's been doing now has been trying to involve minor amounts. But he's not quite used to the stamina drain on it yet. He's only been hunting. He's never been fighting. But that will change. You good, partner? As Naruto hops onto Garrus's back. I'll be fine, partner. Alright. What do you say we show him what we've been working on? Gladly. As Sasuke and Sakura are both looking at this going, what does he mean? As Naruto sheaths his dowel blade and begins to make hand signs. I learned this one from Iruka-sensei. Have my regards. Wind style! Wind bullet jutsu! What? And then Garus roars. Fire style! Fire bullet jutsu! What? As soon as Naruto fires his gigantic shot of wind, Garus opens his mouth and releases a giant flame. The two combine, and as they go forward, well, they impact Kakashi. At least as far as they know. And they create a giant explosion after burrowing a good solid 70 feet into the forest. And that's when they both kind of fall to the ground, because they've spent all their chakra. Garus begins to shrink down to his normal size as Naruto is going reserves. As Sasuke and Sakura run up to him saying, "You moron, you were only supposed to hurt him, you weren't supposed to." And that's whenever they see, well, rather feel Kakashi come up right behind them and smack them both behind the neck, as they both fall over on top of Garus and Naruto. How did you... Substitution technique. Asshole. Spamming asshole. As he, well, goes unconscious. Garus is still there because Naruto still has a relatively good amount of chakra. He's just not used to using that much of it. Because anyone who knows young Naruto, yeah, he had an exponential amount of chakra. You could look at some of the in-canon movies where they had to seal some of it away, just to find out, oh, it took him that long for it to drain out that quickly, and, oh, not only that, but shit, just look at the massive amount of clones and other things he could do. It was, yeah, he had a massive amount of his own natural chakra. The only thing is, he just doesn't know how to control it yet, and he's never used that much of it. So, naturally, you're going to be tired if you think you've used up most of your tank without ever tapping into your reserves. It's like a car engine. If you only drive that car 10 miles and you need to drive it for 5 years, and you need to go another 20 miles one day, well, guess what? That car gonna start acting up because it's never done that before. It's the same with Naruto. So Garus is still around. He doesn't need to be resummoned. But boy, oh boy, does Kakashi have a time trying to bring Garus back to the field. In fact, he just leaves him out in the forest, figuring, he'll find his way. And just brings Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, tying up Sakura because she didn't contribute, well, much. Well, Naruto at least tried to make a team effort, and Sasuke, he at least listened to reason. They both get food. He tries to give Sakura some. She rejects because she doesn't like the idea of Naruto feeding her. Then he just politely bonks her on the head, stating, "Shut the hell up, take the kindness." But bonk, shut the hell up and take the kindness. I bonk, shut the hell up and take the kindness. Either shake your head up and down or say yes. I bonk. And this repeats for a little bit until she finally caves. Fine! As he gives her half of his food. Sasuke's just over there going, I've always wanted to do that for some reason. Just bonk her on the head. That's... not too shabby, Naruto, as he thinks to himself. He continues eating his food because he doesn't give a shit. And that's when Kakashi tells him, well, you're not my equals, you're still my students, but you put up one hell of a ride. And that's whenever they hear a loud roar in the distance, mainly saying, and they can hear upon the breeze, Naruto! He goes, well, Garus is awake. As that's where we'll end it off here. I hope you enjoyed part 1, and please do stay tuned. Have a good one. This has been your humble narrator, Diomedes Rouge, signing off.